Alright, so we're going to do the Excel exercise number 1, the grade sheet today. And I'm going to basically go through the worksheet with you step by step. I'm basically going to read it and enter the information that's on the sheet right through this video. The video might be longer than 15 minutes, so if that's the case, I'll just have to do probably a part 2. So the first step here is go to Start menu. And if you do not have Excel 2016, remember you can just type it in the box down here, EXCEL, and then click on Excel 2016. Once this opens, we're going to start entering the information. Like it says in number 1, enter the information in the spreadsheet below. Be sure that the information is entered in the same cells as given, or the formulas below will not work. So the first cell, A1, says PSC space 556 policy analysis. And then down below it, A2 says spring 1995. Box A4, student names, and this is capital on the worksheet. A5, first name here. This is actually this last name, but it's Thomas dash or comma Stephen. I'm going to hit the down arrow. Next name is, last name's Alexander. First name Suzette. Down arrow. Last name's Richards. First name Billy Joe. And box A8. Last name's Rasmussen, comma Betty. So we're going to go over now. Well, see, now it wants me to go over to B4, and this is what I want to show you. If I click on B4, this runs into B4. So at the top here, everything won't fit into cell A1 here because it's too long. The text is too long, too wide. So if I hover my mouse in between A and B, you should get this black line with 2 arrows pointing one to the left, one to the right. If I double click on there, it automatically fits the cell, the column width, to the longest or the widest text or data that's in there. So now I can come down to B4. I'm going to type in student ID and then start typing these in. 999-25-5683. Go down. 999-52-6938. 999. Oh, that one stumped me actually. It's 998 on this one. 712838. And the last one's 997-74-4447. Again, notice they do not fit in the column, so I can come up to the top in between B and C, double click. So I want to put in cell C4, I want to put exam number 1. And then I'm going to start entering some numbers in. So 94, 93, 92, 95, and then exam 2. Exam number 2. Make sure you put the number sign. Exam number 2. We've got 65, 91, 83, 94, and then we've got cell E4, exam Number 3, 89, 97, 88, 90. And then here we're going to put participation. And if you're looking at the worksheet, participation's abbreviated, but I want to double click here, make it wider. So participation, 90, 80, 90, and a 90. And then over here I'm going to do final average. Again, double click. So right now these should be blank. So you just did step 1 on the grade sheet exercise. Now we got to start entering some formulas. So it says number 2, enter the formula below into cell G5 and copy it into cells G6 to G8. So G5, this is what I'm going to type. I'm going to say equals C5, and you'll notice when I type in these cells C5, they'll highlight in different colors, times, which is shift, and then the 8 key, 0.3, shift, and then equals, which gives you a plus, D5, times, which is shift 8, 0.3, shift equals, will get you another plus, E5, shift 8, times 0.3, shift equals plus, F5, shift 8, which is times 0.1. So now, basically what I just did was, and I'll explain this, it says cell C5 multiplied by 30%. Alright, that's 0.3 as a percent would be 30%, plus cell D5 times 30%, plus cell E5 is weighted 30%, and then participation is 0.1 or 10%. So if you add all those up, it's 100%. So if I hit enter now, there's the average, 83.4. So for Stephen's average, final average, 83.4. Now it says to copy and paste it into the other cells, into cell G6, G7, and G8. So I could go through there, I could type everything again, but this is the easier way. If I just click on this little corner box, you'll get a black plus sign. If I just click, hold that down with your left mouse button and drag it down, it'll automatically calculate it for you. So 92.3 here for Suzette, Billy Joe 87.9, Betty 92.7. So these are the numbers you should have in there. If they're not, then you did something wrong. Alright, you can always go back, you can select these, hit delete, and then go back up and pull this down. So we just did step number 2. Now we're going to do number 3. Enter the information below in the cell indicated. So in cell B10, which is right here, we're going to type in averages. Averages, just like that. Step number 4 says, enter the formulas below in the cells indicated. These formulas demonstrate 3 methods for calculating averages for a column of data. So C10 right here, I want to do equals, shift, and then 9, which is a parenthesis, C5, plus, again, which is shift and the equal sign next to the backspace button, C6, plus C7, plus C8, close parenthesis, divided by 4. So basically it says, okay, let's add up all these exams and we'll divide it by 4, give us our average. So now if I hit enter, so the averages of these, 93.5. D10 says to do equals sum, parenthesis, which is shift 9, D5 to D8, close parenthesis, which is shift 0 divided by 4, and then enter. So the average for exam 2, 83.25. E10 says equals average, open parenthesis, E5 to E8, and shift 0, close parenthesis, enter. So average for exam 3 was a 91. So we're on step 5. Enter the information below in the cells indicated. This will establish the weight each exam is given in the student's final average. So B12. So in the cell B12, we're going to type in weights. In C12, so if I just hit the shift key, not the shift, tab key, it'll move it over to the right. I'm going to type in 0.3. D12, I'm going to type in 0.3. E12, 0.3. And participation, 0.1. Number 6. Enter the formula below into cell G5 and copy it into cells G6 to G8. This demonstrates the use of an absolute reference that points to a specific cell in a spreadsheet. Notice that when the formula is copied into other cells, the absolute reference remains the same, whereas the relative references change according to the location into which the formula is copied. So it's kind of confusing, but you'll see once I type this in. So I'm going to go to G5. Alright, so if you look at G5, it wants me to type this in. So up here, this is what I'm going to type. Equals $, which is shift 4, C, $12, times, which is shift 8, C5, plus $, D, $12, times, which was shift 8, D5, plus $, E, $12, times E5, plus $F, $12, times F5. So basically, it just, this calculates, it's very confusing, but it's going to basically calculate the averages over here using the weights down here. So it'll automatically change. So if I change an exam grade in here, it'll automatically update the final average for us. So if I hit enter now, I've got that. So step 7, looks like I'm going to run out of time here. So I'm going to stop this part where I'm at, and I'm going to finish part 2 in another video. So this here is part 1. Part 2 will be continued. Thank you.